angel work. And the angel that I want to talk about is number 40, and it's the angel Socodiah. And Socodiah basically means like the shield of God or God's protection. And so this aspect has to do with um, protection, obviously, but it's also about I'm looking at my notes right there, like emotional attacks from other people, negative energies from the environment. There's like kind of a spiritual shielding that even helps, like if we're having inner conflicts, to minimize the manifestation of those conflicts with other people or in situations that we might be in. Sometimes we might have something arise up. It could be a thing from our past, from our childhood, some issue that's from the unconscious that is beginning to manifest. Could be also a karmic weight or a karmic issue that might be coming forth. And you could think of the idea of working with Sokadaya as the way to kind of insulate you and your surroundings and your situation and your work and your relationship, so that the inner conflict doesn't impact the stability that you have around you. I think that's a really important aspect to have, because sometimes, like when we're doing deep therapy on people that have had past traumas or something, I mean, there's always a little bit of that there. Like if I start to address this, it's going to blow my life apart. Or if I start to resolve this pattern that I have in my family or in my workplace, what is it going to blow up? And this idea of working Sokadaya, I think it's a nice way of always encouraging the body to move to this place that's like safer and more stable, so that when things arise, we don't have the instability that possibly could come with going a little bit deeper into something that we need to shift or change. you know Even just having the intellectual idea that, yeah, that could be a thing. Because I mean, I think that's a big difficulty that happens when we're working these different mystical practices, or when we're doing deep healing, or even when we're going into intuition. Intellect is like, if I let go of this, this is repetition, this is something I'm maintaining, we have a certain level of comfort or safety here. If I let go of this, it might go nuts. It might completely go nuts. And it probably won't, but the intellect still needs to be convinced a little bit. And I like this idea of working Sokadaya because it does help you have this sense of safety in the nervous system and the body and the intellect, so that when you are shifting, when you are making change, that it's still going to be okay. Like it's still safe. Like life is not going to fall apart, or my situations aren't necessarily going to fall apart. They might shift and change, but the change is going to be okay. Like it's not going to, and I got to pick up the pieces from the side of the road and try to figure something out. So I kind of like this idea for this. So it is kind of like the thing that I wrote in the booklet is it's like a guardian of spiritual healing. Like, it's not just like, oh, it's a guardian, oh, it's a protector. Like it helps like protect the idea or the potential for spiritual healing, because the mind can talk us into things and the mind can talk us out of things. And I think when we are starting to go deeper past just physical healing, we start to go into psychological healing. Even deeper, we start to go into spiritual healing, when we're really looking at like the issues that might be associated with like the soul, the soul's journey in a particular lifetime. As we keep going deeper and deeper to that, it gets a little scarier every time. Like it's hard to let go, even to do psychological work, but to get down into these really deep things, like I need to feel safe if I'm going to do that, or I at least need to feel stable, or I at least need to be able to feel like I'm going to be okay and that I'm not just running like a maniac into something and who knows what's going to happen. And the work with Sokadiah, it does help stimulate transformation. It still helps to stimulate spiritual growth. It helps you to feel more stable as you go through and do these processes. It helps you to go deeper. It helps you to shift things in your environment, be it that you're shifting the environment or how you perceive the environment and interact with the environment. So there's a lot to be unwound with this idea of Sokadiah. And so, yeah, I'm reading when I read, I'm like, boy, why am I not working this angel all the time? Right? Ugh. One thing that I wrote here is like those seeking spiritual enlightenment or those in the midst of a spiritual shift, you call upon Sokadiah, you know. And I'd have to go back and look at my notes, but I want to say Sokadiah is also one of the angels and working deeper aspects of some of the planetary work that the radiant mind was for Mercury, the heart and the thousand petaled lotus was for the moon. The one coming up in August is going to be about Jupiter, which is about expansion, transformation, um, healing, and manifestation, prosperity, things of that nature. And so let's work Sokadiah.